Hi Broken Tea Society, I'm Jon Tattersall. I'm here at Full Swing headquarters in Carlsbad, California, and we're going to talk about driver optimization, spin, launch, speeds, how to optimize this very important club. So drivers over the years have really changed. Obviously now we're in the era of the bigger head. The sweet spot doesn't increase in size, but the effective stability of the head has changed a lot, which really frees us up to swing more aggressively and still be able to find your golf ball. And so hopefully you have access to a launch monitor. You can kind of figure out what works to you. What I'm looking at, of all these numbers, I want you, obviously your ball speed for me is more important than your club speed. So when you're fitting for optimization, ball speed is what we're trying to figure out. Club speed is just giving me potential energy you have. So we need raw speed, but then what are we trying to optimize? So I'm looking at ball speed. If you want to know what efficiency is or smash factor is, that's the difference between ball speed and club speed. So the bigger that ratio is, you're going to get somewhere, depending on the launch monitor you're on, close to a 1.50 number or 1.45 number. So if you're as efficient as you can be with ball speed, we need to get the horsepower up. So kind of think of it that way. Horsepower is potential, ball speed is optimizing. So ball speed, once you've optimized ball speed, now what we're trying to do is optimize the spin, or the spin matters because the ball is like an airplane wing. It's literally flying. It's taking off. So initially the ball's taking off with speed. It reaches a height, and then the way it drops is very, very important. So if it's dropping too steeply, we have too much spin. And the way I figure that out is, again, launch monitors, I'm looking at land angle. So if you get on there, it's a bit difficult nowadays to figure out spin, speed, and launch angle. So look at your land angle. If your ball is landing somewhere in the mid-30s to high 30 degree, it means it's coming in with enough height and enough land angle to release when it hits the ground, but not so high that it's hitting the ground too soon. Because the ball will take off, it will fly, and if it lands like this, we're not getting that last bit of energy out of the golf ball. So ball speed, first and foremost, that tells me, great, are we optimizing that? Then land angles. And then once you figure out, okay, if you're in those two parameters, no matter what setup you have, you're in the ballpark. If you're missing, say, on land angle, then we got to look at loft. Loft is the biggest reason, so it doesn't matter what's said on the bottom of the club, it matters what your dynamic loft is. What loft are you presenting to the ball as you hit the golf ball? And if we present too much loft, either you start with too much or the shaft kicks in a certain way, the ball now is starting to spin. So if you have a high spin issue, generally if you're a high speed player, spin is going to be high. So with the higher speed players, we're trying to take spin off. And so loft is the easiest way to do that. Less loft at impact, either start with less loft or try and put the ball in a certain position we get less loft. That is awesome. That's what we're trying to do. We used to say high launch, low spin. And now it's more complicated than that, because now you've got people who didn't have as much speed and they're trying to send it in the air with absolutely no spin. So if you're a lower speed player, spin actually helps you. If we don't have enough spin, that land angle is going to be in the 20s, and that means it's not carrying far enough. So don't be afraid to look at that land angle and say, okay, I actually need more spin. That could be a golf ball, or again, the easiest way is loft. Put more loft on if you need more spin. That's the best way to do it. So the most quickest way to get better spin is loft, and then we can mess around with shaft. I have people that do all the club fitting now because the combination of shaft, head, golf ball, it's so much moving around with it, and there's so many options for you. So find someone who really knows what they're doing with that stuff. And then the golf ball is incredibly important too. I'm a Titleist guy. Within the Titleist family, I have many different golf balls available. I personally, with players I coach, even though around the green is very important, I know how important the driver is. So if I can optimize the driver with a little less spin, say, for a high-speed player, and we give up a little bit around the green, I'm okay with that trade-off. Obviously, the player has to be okay with it, but experiment with what gives you the best off the tee, and you still get the performance you want around the green. So primarily loft first for optimizing spin, shaft, and golf ball. And whenever we come out with new golf balls or new clubs, I tell people it's like a three-legged stool. If you change any one of those legs, the other pieces are going to get not messed up, but it's certainly going to affect it. So whenever there's a new head coming out, this is the new GT or the new golf ball comes out, again, check everything. Land angles when you're looking at spin. And one of the things that I think is it's helped in so many ways, but messed people up. When we got launch monitors at first, we were told, okay, you've got to hit up on it. And so everybody started trying to manufacture swings to hit up on it. If you have a good amount of speed, you do not need to try and hit up on the golf ball. You have the option to hit fairly level. And if you drive it better when you're feeling fairly level, go with it. Don't all chase hitting up on it. Because you may hit up on some and you may hit one or two phenomenal ones, but this club, we want it to go as far as possible, but it has to be as functional as possible. So simply trying to hit up on it more might not be for you. There's some great information out there on the internet of where we've got ball speed numbers, launch numbers, and spin numbers, and you kind of find out what configuration is correct for you. So try not to automatically go with high launch, low spin. It could be for you, it might not be. A bit more to it now. The wonderful thing is we know so much more now than we used to, and go get fit. It's so important.